I'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. I'll introduce the panel members. I'm Marcel Larondo. I'll be chairing. Jeff Peachy, Peich, to my left, and Randy Ray to my far left. The assessor today is Candace Wright, and our administrative assistant today is Kelly Harrison. We'll be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit the discussions to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matter must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessment of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decision with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to an application of exemption from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions, and each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after the applicants have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are recorded and will be part of the public record. And I would ask you to please put your phones on silent. I'm the biggest offender. Swear them in, please.
Do you swear in or affirm?
Could you please state your name, Candace Wright?
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you like to swear in on the Bible or affirm your vows?
Could you please state your name? My name is Betty Margaret Hayfeld.
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Could you please state your name? Warren Winnipeg. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Do you have any evidence for me? No, just what you heard.
First property today will be 2090 Henderson Highway and its amount of assessed value. Candace, when you are ready.
Thank you. The subject property is roll number 0400-725-7010. Street address is 2090 Henderson Highway. This is a vacant lot located in the Valhalla neighborhood. We currently are valuing this property as if it was zoned for single-family residential. The department is aware that there are ongoing issues with the zoning and development of this property. As far as I'm aware, there's an ongoing court case. So zoning, currently we have it as multifamily, which may change depending on what happens when those issues are resolved. But because we are aware of those issues, we're valuing it as if it was zoned for single-family development. The assessed lot size is 23,430 square feet. The influences are bus route and heavy traffic. It's Red River adjacent to a regional park, and there is a school influence. The 2020 assessment on this property is $287,000, which is $12.25 per square foot. I selected 4 comparables for this subject property. Comparables 1 and 2 are both Red River adjacent properties in the Kildonan Drive neighborhood. Both have R1L zoning. Comparable 1 lot size is 19,200 square feet. That property sold in January of 2016 for $350,000. Time adjusted, that would be $382,600, which is $19.92 per square foot. And comparable 3 is 20,368 square feet. That property sold in July of 2014 for $360,000. Time adjusted to $398,800, which is $19.58 per square foot. Comparables were limited of this size and along the river, especially as far north as the subject property, and included a map and an aerial view of the subject for reference. So keeping that in mind, comparable number 2 was selected as a residential property that was closer to the subject property and a more recent sale. So this lot size is 7,439 square feet, sold in February 2018 for $173,000. Time adjusted to $173,500, which is $23.33 per square foot. And now comparable number 4 was selected. This property is actually zoned for multifamily development. So this just gives an idea of how multifamily zoned properties in this area are selling. This property is located in River East. It is 36,280 square feet. It sold in July of 2013 for $500,000, which is $13.78 per square foot. So with being aware of the legal issues with this property, we are valuing it as if it would be zoned for single-family residential development. So based on these comparables, I feel that the 2020 assessment of $287,000 is supported.
Do you have any questions of the assessor before you make your presentation? Do the panel members have any questions? Start with you, Randy.
I see you have different comparables on this. So that you're saying there's a court and the legal issues right now, and the department determined that it will be based on the zone for single family.
As far as I'm aware, and the owners I'm sure can confirm that the issues are ongoing, I believe the main issue was rezoning from single family to multifamily. So keeping that in mind, that zoning hasn't officially been changed to multifamily, we are valuing it as single family residential.
Okay, thank you.
No questions on this.
Number 4, where is that on the map?
So we have the back.
It is the one, it's just south of the subject property. So it's actually just off Henderson Highway. It's actually immediately behind, I believe it's an apartment building. So that property, as of right now, as far as I'm aware, it's still vacant and it's accessed through the back lane, but it is zoned for multifamily development.
That's one of the reasons it sold so cheap, wasn't it? Because of the access and
that was
the
an
location.
issue. Yeah, and that was a struggle I had, was that far north on Henderson, especially with the river influence, there are very limited sales. So yeah, those were the reasons I selected the comparables that I did.
But there's still water and sewer up there, right?
Yes.
It's just beyond that. Okay. Let's hear your presentation.
Okay. Well, first of all, we're going to apologize for coming in front of this board. We were in front of the board November 29th, 2018, when a decision was rendered at that point by the Board of Revision to reduce the assessed value to $100,000 after our presentation and decision of the board. So we do apologize for bringing it forward again, and we feel, one, the necessity for us to come in front of the board shortly after, a year after our last decision is not quite fair, but that being said, we're here again to argue. We purchased our property in 2012, went through a rezoning process, revision of the North Henderson secondary plan, which was granted. Our variances were granted at that time. In 2014, shortly after the decision was made to rezone, one of the neighboring properties decided to file an appeal in the Court of Queen's Bench. That process was heard approximately 6 months after the appeal was filed. The judge took about 6 months to come to verdict, quashed the rezoning, quashed the variances, but allowed us the provision to reapply. So we reapplied for rezoning, North Henderson secondary amendments, variances. Again, the rezoning was granted And again, the neighbors filed in Court of Queen's Bench to appeal the decision. To date, that Court of Queen's Bench application is sitting in court. It is between our neighbors to the north and the city of Winnipeg. We tried to become party to the case so that our concerns and our side of the story could be told. The judge did not grant that. So right now it sits between the neighbors and the city of Winnipeg. We don't have any recourse to push the court forward, and the city has decided to take a position. It is adjourned in court, sine die, which means indefinitely. We cannot force it forward unless one of the parties that are named in the suit pushes it forward. So my understanding is it can sit like that indefinitely. So we are at a loss of what to do. The court case holds against the property. The zoning is registered on title from the first rezoning. It hasn't been removed. But we cannot, we have permits that are on hold at the city of Winnipeg that we've paid for. We've paid for waterways permit, geotechnical, architectural, structural, land, drainage, all of that's paid for and is sitting indefinitely, which at some time will become needing to be re-stamped, redesigned, codes changed, and we don't have any recourse. So the city has chosen not to deal with this application, even though in its own charter it states that it has to be heard in the Court of Queen's Bench 30 days after it's filed. So we are now almost 4 years into this court case. Nothing's happened. We can't sell the property. We can't develop the property. We can't build on the property because the permits are on hold. We basically have a worthless piece of property at this point. That's our feeling. Perhaps it will change. Perhaps the city will change their mind and decide to do something. We're not sure. But at this point, this property sits, and I mean, we're not able to do anything with it.
If City Legal would decide to move forward on this case, this could all be solved.
Yes. They have granted rezoning. I mean, the committee has approved them.
We had building permits. We had units sold already.
We still have building permits.
We still have. We have units sold already. We have to give the deposit back. We went everything by the book. We paid a lot of money to the city of Winnipeg. And the only thing I can do on a piece of property as it stands now is go cut the grass so the neighbor doesn't complain.
I agree. Kyle. Do you have any questions, Candace?
So, and it's pretty much just to confirm, it's not possible at this point to just cancel rezoning and develop a single family. Is that correct?
Why would we want to do that when we put so much money into it? At this point, who's going to give us that money back?
Yeah.
We tried to get a refund on the waterways permit. I won't tell you what the city told me, because I can't repeat it here.
We're really not sure because we also, the legal department doesn't speak to us. From the city, the head of planning and property, Mr. Grady, told me in August I am his contact. I'm to contact him. In the last 2 weeks, I think I've emailed him 7 times. I have not received one reply yet. So he's not talking to me, and he's my contact. So if we're at a loss of where to talk to, who's going to talk to us, we can't talk to our counselor because the matter's before the court. He's going to be called for an affidavit in the court, so he can't talk to us. Other counselors that are on the committee can't talk to us because it may come back in front of community committee. Yeah, this city works in just wonderful ways. So.
And our lawyer contacts City Legal, and it's,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this for 4 years, and
Wow.
we're still in the same boat.
We've been doing it longer than that.
Well, yeah, that was the legal.
Candace, do you have any other questions?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Randy?
Do you know how much you paid for the lot in 2012?
We,
355 and had a house on it, which we demolished after we got the building permit for the condos.
because the city gave us a demolition permit when they gave us the building permit. So we went ahead with the demolition because we had a building permit. We could have rented that house out for all these years and gotten some kind of income and left it as a single-family lot and house, but the city issued both demo, which they wouldn't issue until they issued the building permit, and the building permit's been issued since 2013.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
You made a reference to not being able to sell, build, etc. Why couldn't you sell?
Who's going to buy it? There's legal case against us, even the neighbors of the city. Yeah, I could sell it for 10 cents on the dollar. I mean, we're into it for $7.50 right at this point. And then, I understand what you say was the assessment under normal circumstances. I agree with that. This is not normal. Like I say, we can't do anything except cut the grass.
Weed control.
And you have, so it's in limbo. There is no other route that you can possibly take at this time.
We have tried. We have tried to come to an agreement with the neighbors outside of the lawsuit.
We did come to an agreement with the neighbors.
Yeah.
Back in when the second case was first filed, it suggested by our legal, city legal, that we come to some sort of agreement. If the neighbors and us could come to some sort of agreement addressing their concerns, you know, and we can move forward. So we came to an agreement, and it was signed off by them, ourselves, city legal. It went in front of council, and Mr. Bowman said he did not accept that agreement. He said, let's go to court. That's exactly was his words. Said if Councillor Brawadi thinks he did nothing wrong, let him stand before the court and tell the story. So we had an agreement. City legal had an agreement with us, with the neighbors. We've all signed. And city council did not accept that. So to us, the city is holding us hostage here for, we don't really understand why. They don't want development in the city, I guess, is really the message they're sending to pretty much every developer.
So just to follow then, do you have a thought process on how one should arrive at the 2020 assessment roll or the value of the property? As a committee, we need to rely on comparables and preferably time-adjusted sales. But what are you suggesting?
Well,
I think at our last meeting, I mean, we suggested, it wasn't worth anything to us at this point. I mean, obviously it has some value if some of these issues get resolved, but we have no way of knowing when that's going to be or how much longer it's going to be. So at that time, they set a value at $100,000 because there's still some value in land, I suppose.
and you have to put yourself in our shoes. I mean, we paid for all the permits to the city of Winnipeg.
Yes.
And then they put it on hold. They didn't even phone us to tell us that we were put on hold. It was online we found out.
Yeah, we didn't get we actually didn't get an official notice that the permits were even on hold.
So they have all our money. Plus we gave them 20 feet frontage on Henderson Highway
And we've paid a servicing agreement.
for future wide down the Henderson Highway. The city's got that. It's transferred to them.
And you've already paid the servicing agreement as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So right now, this land is worthless to us unless,
Well,
We
it's
do
actually,
that.
it actually costs us money because
Yeah,
we
you're
have
good for
to,
7.5.
and we have to continue to pay legal fees,
Property-
taxes.
property tax.
Property tax, all of those things. And we'll probably have to redo even what we've done so far. Like I said, given code, given changes, even geotechnical, I'm not sure. River changed, went super high this year. They might even call for a new geotechnical to decide how close to the bank we need to be, or, I mean, all these things come into consideration. That being said, also the market's completely changed from 2012 to 2020, and our life in itself has changed. I mean, to hold somebody in limbo for 8 years is, I can't even speak to that, to be honest. Like, our situation's changed in our life, market's changed in the city of Winnipeg, and we really feel the city's at fault here for a lot of things. But, I mean, it costs us a lot of legal fees even to make a phone call to them.
Sure.
So at what point do you stop throwing good money after bad?
Thank you. I have no other questions.
Appreciate that. You'll be hearing from us before you know it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure you can.
Last time we were here, we thought it was good for 2 years. So why are we here now?
They can actually come back every year.
Oh,
Why did you come back after 1 year?
The
Because we're in 2020.
the information I have on record was that the previous appeal was for the 2019 assessment.
2019?
Yeah. So it just held for that year.
So what happened is, that you did the 2019, this is the 2020, the next one after this will be 2022. That's the 2 years. Because 2020 is a year for assessment. So the next
That's
one.
the reference, yeah.
It's the reference date. So this is referenced, right now it's referenced for 2018, April 1st.
Yeah.
It's reference for 2008.
The value for April 1st, 2018. So
So the 2019 that we argued was for,
same date,
so we're arguing the same thing again.
same thing, same date.
So we can argue this again next year. Is that correct?
Probably not. They'll probably wait till 2020, depending on what our decision is.
This decision would hold for 2020 and 2021, and then it's reassessed again in 2022.
And hopefully by then you have it resolved.
Well,
We can-
hopefully the city will have move forward somewhere.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
That takes care of Henderson. The next property will be Oakdale Drive.
Which one?
Oakdale, Boris? Boris? So sets.
Could you state your name?
Voice next to it.
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Do you have any evidence about
Yes.
this?
Oakdale, question. This one here, it's file number 12.
Is this just one?
I have one copy for myself to refer to it, and I have one here.
Okay. We are required to have 5 copies, but it's up to the chair. How do you want
As long-
this?
How many do you have?
I have one for myself just to refer to it, and one for you guys.
Okay, so let her have it, let the assessor have it for now, and we'll share it. But next time, bring 4 copies.
5, yeah.
5 copies.
Actually, I think I gave you one page twice that I will need for myself. Is it possible?
Yep.
No, I think
Just
I
go
gave
over and get it.
Oh, yeah, there's 2
Yeah.
copies here.
We don't always have to be formal. We'll get this right yet.
Well, let's do it one.
Oh.
And you sworn in? Candace, when you're ready, we're dealing with the amount of assessed value on Oakdale Drive, no address. When you're ready.
The subject property is roll number 010096000245. This is a vacant lot with residential zoning in the Eric Coy neighborhood. The lot size is 33,955 square feet, and it has a medium traffic influence. This property was purchased post-reference in November of 2018. The 2020 assessment is $231,000, which is $6.80 per square foot. I have 4 comparable properties that are all vacant residential lots. Comparables 1, 2, and 3 are in the Eric Coy neighborhood, and comparable 4 is in the Wetsworth neighborhood. The lot size ranges from 7,329 square feet to 26,420 square feet. The sale price of these properties range from $156,000 to $276,000, which time adjusted is $163,500 to $292,500, and the time adjusted sale price per square foot ranges from $11.06 to $24.87. The subject property did have a permit that was issued in April of 2019 to construct a new single-family dwelling. I did drive by the property on January 6th. I've included a photo that's been submitted, and the house has been started, but is not completed at this point. So based on the vacant residential comparable properties in the neighborhood, I feel that the current 2020 assessment for the vacant lot at $231,000 is supported by market evidence.
Do you have some questions of the assessor?
Yeah, I have a question. I would like to ask you, why are you looking for not a suitable properties to compare to when you have very suitable properties on the same street right beside me? You're choosing to go to different areas, you're choosing to go to a brand new development with high-end houses and bring me the lot value from there. Well, it's not comparable. It's not. We have very comparable that I prepared on the same street and the street right beside. Also, when you're looking at the size.
One question
Sorry.
at a time.
The sales on Oakdale, when did they occur?
I have 19, 18, 17, 15, exactly the same like with your comparables.
We can only look at sales that occurred before April 1st of 2018 for this assessment.
But you providing December 2015, July 2017, June 2015, you providing that and want me to provide something else. So how does it make sense?
We're looking at sales that occurred before April 1st of 2018. That's the reference to the 2020 assessment.
Okay, sorry about that. I have 15 and 17 as well, same like you.
Good, then you'll be able to give those to us.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Yes, one other question. When you're looking at the size of my property, have you noticed that if you look at the number, it looks big, but the important part is the frontage. The frontage is just 60 foot. We have a landlocked piece in the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you go by that size, it looks, oh, it's bigger, but it's just a big piece of backyard. It's not usable. We have a house right in front. So again, when you're looking at the comparables, you have to mention that we have a big piece of landlocked that cannot be used in the frontage. Exactly, it's quite important.
So you wouldn't be using the backyard
The back
as
is a yard.
usable space?
It's a yard. When you're talking about 70, 80, 90 foot frontage versus 60 foot frontage, it's completely different lot. Because this is what you limited to do. This is what you limited to do at that frontage, not the inside locked parcel of land.
Yeah.
So you took it into consideration.
I mean, it's one piece of land, so it's not really landlocked. It can be accessed from the street, and it is all usable space.
It can be used just as a backyard, not as a. And again, because the size is misleading, it's big, but the frontage is what important. Because frontage limits you to any development you do it based on the frontage, not on the piece of the backyard. It's kind of not regular shape. This is why it's. You can see it on the map. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for me.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions, Randy?
Do you know the assessment roll in 2018 for this lot?
2018 was $222,000.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff?
Sorry, do you know the frontage?
I actually don't have that number.
64.
660.
60.
60?
60.
And in terms of the comparables you've presented, in your opinion, these are the best comparables that you were able to identify, or are there others?
There may be others. These were the four that I found that were most similar that happened prior to the reference date.
Okay. No questions at this time?
Was the house situated on the front or on the back portion of this property?
The house is on the front
It's
portion.
still on the front?
Right along the street.
So it hasn't been taken down?
Sorry,
It hasn't been taken down?
There's no house.
it's a house that's
Empty.
under construction
Oh,
currently.
so it's being built?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a new house being built? There's going to be a sup on this anyway then?
yeah.
That's in the picture.
There's going to be a sup on it anyway when the house is done?
Oh yeah, it's going to be later, but it will take time.
I'll ask you the questions after.
Yeah.
You can make your presentation.
Okay, so as I said, I think the comparables that we have in the list here is completely off the range. It's not right at all. And I prepared a list of comparables. One list is with all comparables on Oakdale. So we have to. The basic principle is you try to find the closest property to the subject property so you can compare the best.
Just give me 1 second, I'm just looking for those papers.
Oh, the paper.
Here they are.
So what? Okay.
These are your comparables, right?
I have two lists. No, I have one list. Yeah, this is the Oakdale, and I have another list I can give you is the Fairmont. It's another street right beside, right behind, but very similar, same block.
Okay.
Okay, so
Let's go over
so I
this
can
next
refer to
one
this.
first.
Yeah. So what I did, I just went as a basic principle of when you try to compare property, you go the closest you can. You don't have to go to new development with brand new buildings with the high-end houses. So I went on Oakdale, and it's not easy to find land lots. It's usually a house and somebody demolished the house, and then you have a lot or use the house. But I was trying to look for something similar. So I have some comparables from 2019 and then as well as 17 and 15 as been mentioned. There is few lots from 2019 that they've been trying to sell for 200,000, but they haven't been able to. It's expiring and listing. It's been more than 2 months on the market. Nobody purchased it on Oakdale. So it shows something. If a lot costs 230, it will not stay there for 200,000 for 2 months not sold. It hasn't been sold. We have a house that just was sold on Oakdale on a larger lot. It's 74 foot wide by 363 deep, and the house of 1,500 square foot. It was not a good shape house, but it's 1,500 square feet, sold for 305. The value of the house for sure more than 100,000. We always try to find the value of the land and the house. The house value is more than 100,000. It's sold for 305. Also, if we go back, we have 344 Oakdale. It was sold for 291 with a house on a 100-foot frontage lot. It's almost double size of frontage with a house. Again, of course, it's not a good house, but house worth something. It was sold for 291. It's second page of my first comparable on the second page.
Yep.
And then if we go back in time and want to kind of compare to the 2017 and 15, we have August 2017. This house is right in front of my house, so you can find a better comparable. And they sold for 260. The lot is 60 by 362 with the house, with a 1,380 square foot house for 260. So give at least 100,000 value to that house. And it's right in front of me. The last comparable on the page is actually my neighbor sitting there. It's a lot that's been sold in 2015 for 170. Again, same size frontage, same size depth, just have a chunk of a backyard, little more than that, sold for 170. Okay, so why would we go to a new development to show the price if we have prices right on the street? The other page is a very good comparable as well. Is Fairmont. Fairmont is right behind, same type of lot, same block, is lots of 300. So it's two houses, separate page. And
We
again,
don't have that one, do we?
I think you have. This is the last page I wrote you.
I passed all of
It's a single page, not attached. It should be a single page. This is the offer.
There it is.
Okay, so we have here on Fairmont, larger lot, 84 foot frontage by 363, same depth, with a 1,100 square foot house that was built in 69. It's not a bad house for 319. Again, with a house. Same from 2017. Houses sell for houses not like a fancy house. Simple houses sell for 300,000 there. We're talking about lot only. House that over 1,000 square foot house. It's not even 100,000. It's more. It's 150. But to kind of try to be realistic. So I purchased my lot. The owner of the lot asked for 222. This is assessed value for back then. I said no. It's definitely not more than 200,000. He said, well, it's a lot. I'll have to pay GST. Give me 5,000. So I'll pay the GST and you give me 5,000 kind of to cover it for half of the GST. It's okay, and I paid 205. So it's definitely not more than 200,000. It's less, but I was willing to pay 200,000. More than that, it's just crazy.
Questions?
When do you expect that the house will be completed?
I hope later this year,
Okay.
but I can. It depends on so many things. I've been waiting for hydro for a month, so you never know what's going to happen. So I hope sometime later this year.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff?
What are your concerns with the assessor's comparables?
They're not correct. She's going to a different type of street new development. Like if you go to Scottswood, you will see houses for 700,000 or 800,000 right beside you. Well, I will tell you that if my new house sits beside houses for 300,000, it immediately affect my value of the land and of the house. If you sit beside a house of 800,000, well, it's pushing up. So
What about the three comparables in Coventry?
Coventry is not comparable at all. You can see Coventry all built new houses. We have like 5 or 6 that I know right now. It's different. It's different street. Oakdale is a drive-through street. People go to Wilkes through Oakdale. They cut off, so we have traffic there. It's not Coventry. Coventry is I would be willing to switch my lot for Coventry, but you can't really just find so many lots for sale.
And then I've sort of glanced at them because we don't have a copy, but of the comparables you've provided to us, which two do you think most fairly represents a comparable?
The two right in front of it, 668 with a house for 260, and a land lot, again of my neighbor, for 170.
That's on the second sheet.
The second sheet.
Second
Two
sheet.
last houses, and they're actually the best time-wise because it's been done in the right time frame.
So that, I'll wait till you're done.
No. So I'm sorry. What's the time frame? You've got a 170 here.
170 is September. 170 is December 2015,
2015.
and the house for 260 is August 2017. So it's right there. I think the basic principle for every appraiser is you have to go as close as you can. If you can't find something close, you go farther, for sure, but you have to stay there. It's my street and you have tons of comparables on the street.
So of the comp that is 260,000, 668 Oakdale
Right.
Drive,
Mhm.
that's 2017,
Yes.
and that's right in front of your lot.
Yes. And it's 1,380 square foot house.
Yeah.
The
So what value are you attributing to the house?
150 at least.
I have no other questions.
Okay?
So the one that's in front of your house, that's still just a 60-foot lot, correct?
Yes.
But it's 362 deep.
Yeah, it's same that the only difference again, I have when you go deeper, I have a by the backyard.
And you've got a double lot across from you. That's 120 feet wide. The one that, is it why does it not have an address?
Because it's a good question. If you look
You
at the
said there was a
map,
house on it.
no, there was no house on it.
There was
If you
no
look at the
house.
map, you see this piece here? Originally it was a house with the address. The previous owner
The one in the back.
subdivided it, sold the house, and kept the land, and then sold the land, so there was no address. And now it's 667, because we got the address for the city to start construction.
So
And
the front had the address? The 60-foot
The 60-foot front section said.
That's where the address is?
Yes.
But the old address was on the back piece, you said?
No, the old address, if you look at this, it was a complete lot. So this one that marked right now is mine. All of this
Yeah.
was one complete lot.
That was one complete lot.
It was, okay? So here we have a house.
Yeah.
So this one had address.
So they sold that one?
So they sold that one and left the land without anything. And then I got it from them.
When did that subdivision go through? When did they subdivide?
Oh, I don't know, I
that?
purchased after the subdivision. I purchased the land, I never subdivided, I purchased a piece of land. So I think this house beside me, I think, was sold in 15 or 16, so probably somewhere there, I don't know.
So the other zero, that's for 170, your neighbor, that's the one to the south of you?
It's right in front of me.
The one for 170?
Yeah, it's right in front of me. If you see the double lot,
Yeah.
this one's divided to two pieces. It's 120 divided to 260.
So it's 120 and they divided it into 260. Oh, that double lot that's there.
Yeah,
So that's
in
been
front of
divided.
me, yes.
That's why it's zero. And those splits have already come into play, right? They've already been
Yes,
split
they've
the
all
properties?
completed, yeah.
Is there any reason you wouldn't have used the other zero one for its sale at 170?
I'm not too sure
It
why.
was December 2015,
Yeah.
so It's not too far back.
Yeah, it's within Oregon State for sure, so it can be considered.
So 170, if you adjusted it to April 1st, 2018, that's 3 years.
Yeah.
Puts it at 200 and change.
205.
205?
How much did you pay for the lot?
205. I paid, like I said, I paid 200,000 plus 5,000 for the GST that have to be paid.
In 2018?
Yes.
Yeah, but he bought it in December, that's why, which is
It says November.
November. he
Yeah,
bought
I
it.
gave you the offer there. The offer is there.
The offer is there.
You have the offer with the price.
It's
To the counter.
Boris is a real estate agent, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
broker, yeah.
So you think that the lot is not worth 205?
I think that for that moment, the lot was not more than 200,000. I think I overpaid 5,000 bucks.
So if you're gonna sell your house now,
There's no house there.
no, I mean the lot. What do you think is the value of the house, the lot?
Today, maybe 210. Today,
Okay.
but not 2018. But again, it's not a lot anymore. It's going to be a house.
Yes, correct. Yeah, yeah.
And then there'll be a sub.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. You'll be hearing from us.
Did you want me to leave the comparables?
Yeah.
Because this is my neighbor. So he don't have those comparables. I think we can leave those
You're okay if we use this comparables?
for him as well because it's the same. You want the copy as well?
What address is that?
0 again. Going with Jose.
It's all okay.
Oh, no, not Jose. Oh, Jose, you're in the same place, Jose? You don't have an address yet.
No.
So we're leaving it with this gentleman. And Jose, you're up.
I'm up.
Yep.
Yeah?
No.
No? Yeah, Jose's up.
Oh,
Tony's last.
okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm getting confused.
I got this.
Sooner is better for me anyways.
Want me to deal with him first, Jose?
No.
Come on up.
No, sooner is better.
We're going to use those comparables on Tony's.
These?
Yeah. Okay. Who says
Would you
what?
like to swear in or affirm without? Could you please state your name? And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And you don't have any evidence?
I don't have any evidence.
We're dealing with assessed value on a lot.
Kind of.
Kind of a lot.
Yeah, kind of.
Right where the road's going. Go ahead.
Thank you. The subject property is roll number 010017599700. This is a vacant lot with residential zoning in the Elmhurst neighborhood. The lot size is 58,474 square feet. This property is landlocked with no water and no sewer. The 2020 assessment is $101,000, which is $1.73 per square foot. I have 3 comparable properties here. They are all vacant lots with residential zoning. The comparables 1 and 2 are in the Elmhurst neighborhood, and comparable 3 is in the Bettesworth neighborhood. The lot size ranges from 14,566 square feet to 95,591 square feet. All comparable properties are also landlocked with no water and no sewer. The sale price on these properties range from $20,100 to $147,900. The time-adjusted sale price ranged from $20,900 to $151,000, and the time-adjusted price per square foot ranged from $1.43 to $2.17 per square foot. Comparables for this type of property are very limited. I feel that comparable 3 is likely the best comparable in terms of size, and it is the most recent sale in 2017. So based on that property selling for $147,900, I feel that the 2020 assessment for the subject property at $101,000 is within the range of reasonable market value.
Do you have any questions of the assessor before you make your presentation?
No.
Rand, did you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Jeff?
None of them.
I've only got one. I like that comparable number one because it's landlocked too, isn't it?
All three of these are
They're all
actually.
three.
But that number one is smaller,
Yeah, yeah,
so that's at $1.43 a square foot.
yes.
This one is larger. Would it not be less than this one then? Because it's larger? Usually when they're larger, the value goes
Usually.
down on a per square footage.
Usually, that's usually the
That's,
trend.
I mean, that's
but
what you
in
did
this
on the
case-
previous one.
But I mean, based on comparable three is larger than the subject, and it's $1.58 per square foot. So
Mhm.
there's a wide range of comparable.
So you're taking a scope between the two?
Yes.
Well, not really. You're higher than both. You're at $1.73.
But based on comparable three being a larger property, you would think that the price per square foot would be lower than the subject.
That's a big.
You know, it makes
So
it's a difficult one to set a value on because of
Yeah, the sizes and prices are
and
kind
with
of all
what's
over the
happening
place.
and with what's happening in the community.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a whole bunch of these that have been swapping hands over the years for next to nothing. Garden plots, we always call them.
Yeah. Yeah, which is it's a struggle to assess
Yes.
these types of properties. So this is a sample of what we're basing our assessment
Okay.
on. So this is the best.
We'll see what
Yeah.
Jose has got to say about his piece of property, his garden.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how he gets to it, because
It's
the
not
neighbors
even a
don't
garden.
usually let you walk through their yards to
I
get to
can't
it.
get there.
They usually put up fences.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I do sit here every 2 years in front of you because of this. I probably made a mistake years ago, bought a piece of land for next to nothing, expecting to make some money out of it. I've been paying taxes for 20 years and not getting anything out of it, and we will never get anything out of it. So the last time I was here, was assessed at $50,000. I don't know what justification is the city of Winnipeg to do 100% increase in 1 year. Even if it was tried to be more value to the property, which is not, because maybe this doesn't help me saying it, but I put a lot for sale 2 years ago on marketplace for $49,000. I got tons and tons of calls, not one offer. So last time I was here was $50,000. Now it's $100,000. I don't see any justification for it. I can't sell it. I can't use it. I would sell it to the city for less than that if they wanted, but I would like to get rid of it. I can't see how that property is worth $100,000. I wish it was. I would be very, very happy if it was. You know, I'll be very happy if it was worth $50,000, tell you the truth. I'll sell it today. So if the city wants it for $50,000, $45,000, I'm sorry.
It's getting.
I'm sorry, I'm getting out of hand, but it's.
No, that's good. I like
true.
this.
It's true. And it's on the record. I'll sell it for $45,000 if the city wants.
Don't say it too loud.
No?
Any questions of Jose?
So have you ever attempted to sell the property?
Yes.
Your plans?
2 years ago, I put it on marketplace, which has got a real estate agent, but just to see, because it really bothers me that every 2 years I have to take time for work and come over here and fight, and I'm not a fighter, really. I don't like confrontation. And I know that it's not worth anything to me. If it is, then I'll pay for it, which is just. And so I put it just to see at $49.9 and not one bite.
And
So if
that was, sorry, that was 2 years
about 2
ago?
years ago, year and a half ago, yeah. And like I said, I would sell it for that.
Wait 3 more years.
Yeah? Okay. Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. So you bought this in 2001 for $5,000.
Yeah.
And you're paying property tax on it.
And for the last 20 some odd years.
Do you know how much is your property tax every year?
It's $500 some dollars now. 560, 590, somewhere around there.
And you were here 2 years ago, you said?
Yeah, I'm here
2018?
every 2 years or whatever. I've been here forever. Sometimes they call me and they say, don't worry about it, we'll decrease it again before I come here, and sometimes I have to come by. So,
Okay, no further question. Thank you.
Jeff?
okay.
I think I know the answer to this question, but do you feel there's been any appreciation in the last couple of years?
I'm not a real estate agent, I'm not sure, I just know that I can't sell it.
Yeah. I have no other questions.
Yeah, if I could sell
It's
it.
appreciated from 5,000.
Oh, no, no.
Times 10, it's worth 50 now.
I'm sure it's worth $5,000, I'm sure anything's worth
So I said
$5,000.
it's gone from 5 to 50, so it's 10 times up.
I just thought I was a smart investor, but I guess,
Well, you know.
I want you to know I did the exact same thing, so don't feel bad.
You took some risk, you know.
yeah. But and even if you was justified that increase, how can you justify 100% increase?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, right? I mean, 50,000 is already way over what's worth it to tell you, in my opinion anyways. But 100,000, like it's, and then I have to pay $50 come over here, I have to parking lot, waste a day of work. I'm not a lawyer, I'm a construction worker, so I have to work for a living for no reason anyways. Not your fault. Not your
Well, we want you to feel like you've been heard though, Josie.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We appreciate it.
Okay.
Guess what, Tony, you're up. We're going to be using the same information as one of the previous developments, so we're going to... You want to go make copies of this for us, maybe?
We'll have to take a break then.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we take a little break?
That's fine.
Sure. Let's take a little break.
Yeah,
Swear 'em in
so
first.
that we can,
Then we'll take a break.
we have a
Hello,
reference.
sir. Could you please state your name?
Tony Matthew.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a little break here.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Give one to the assessor. And that's all we need. Perfect.
Thank you.
And we'll save them for you because you'll probably need the extra copies, right?
Just one, actually.
Just one?
Just one.
I won't bring on
And this is,
his presentation. Thank you. So again, we're dealing with no address, just Oakdale. You can go ahead when you are ready, and it's on assessed value.
Thank you. The subject property is roll number 010096000380. This is a vacant lot with residential zoning in the Eric Coy neighborhood. The lot size is 21,751 square feet. It has a medium traffic influence. The most recent sale on this property was in 2016 for $170,000. The 2020 assessment is $215,000, which is $9.88 per square foot. I have 4 comparable properties that are all vacant lots with residential zoning. Comparables 1, 2, and 3 are in the Eric Coy neighborhoods, and comparable 4 is in the Betsworth neighborhood. The lot size ranges from 7,329 square feet to 26,420 square feet. Sale price range from $156,000 to $276,000. Time adjusted sale price range from $163,500 to $292,300, which works out to a price per square foot of $11.06 to $24.87. There was a permit that was issued in January 2017 on this property to construct a new single-family dwelling, and then a more recent permit in October of 2018 to develop the basement of the house. I did drive by the property on January 6th. I've included a photo. From the exterior, it looks like the house may be close to being completed. And I would like to add that with this one and the previous Oakdale property, we're looking at the condition of the house in 2020. So currently, the assessment procedure is we leave it as a vacant lot until the house is completed, then we assess it as a house. But that structure, even though not completed, does have value. So the lot as it sits in 2020, if it was listed in 2018, the unfinished structure would have some value. So that's the argument I'll make, that the improvement, although unfinished at this point, does have some value that would be added to the property.
Do you have some questions, Tony?
First question is, I guess, if there's listings that are on the same street, why were they not used? And you use comparables that are really not in the same street in a different neighborhood, like even at Scottswood, that's a brand new development with all new homes on it. So I'm just wondering why we didn't use comparables that were available on Oakdale next to my property, I guess.
Well, I was aware of the sale of your property in 2016. It is included on the brief, so we are aware of that sale that occurred. I'm not sure if there were others on Oakdale. There may have been. I'm not sure if there were vacant lot sales.
Yeah, there was, well, 2 vacant lots, but I guess they'd be outside of the time frame that actually didn't sell, and they were listed at 199 on Oakdale, very similar size lots, and they've been on the market at 199 and they haven't sold. So. My second question, I guess, was, this is my first time in front of the board, but I did appeal my last assessment, and the city actually called me and resolved it over the phone. And I purchased for 170, and they assessed it last time at 207. And I appealed it, and they came back at 178. Is that taken into consideration? I mean, that was only like a year ago. Now I'm up to 20%. Like, I'm not sure how you get that value.
Yeah, it's a new reassessment, so we don't necessarily look at past decisions. We're looking at, if there are more recent sales that have occurred, we're looking at those more recent sales. And each time the property is looked at, again, to see what the value would have been as of the reference date. So in this case, April 1st, 2018.
That's it for your questions?
Yeah.
Randy?
Do you know the increase of the sales? What's the percentage increase of the sales in the lot there,
Yeah,
in that
so
area?
the only statistic I have is citywide vacant residential went up about 6.5%.
6.5%.
But like I said, that's citywide, so it accounts for new developments, older areas. It's a wide range, so it's not specific to this area.
So average around 6%, something like that.
Something like that.
Okay, thank you.
And actually, that was very similar to my question, just to follow on for clarity. So that's 6.5 per annum. That's how you calculate time adjusted.
No, so the 6.5% would just be the difference between 2018 and 2020 assessment.
Okay. So my question then is, what is that algorithm on the time adjusted per square foot? Do you have some sense?
We don't have exact numbers. It's a number that's calculated looking at
The computer
unit
does it.
sales and computerized. Yeah, it's a multiple regression model that
Right.
looks at computerized how
Right.
sales have changed over time, and
I
then
get
we
it.
come up with a monthly adjustment.
I have another question.
Go ahead, Randy.
So based on 2018 assessment, 178, and it increased another 37,000, the percentage is 21%.
Well, the 6.5% is an average, so some properties went up significantly more, some significantly less. That's just an average, and we don't actually look at percent increases. We look at new sales if they're available, we look at a different set of sales. So we don't base our assessments on percent increase, we base them on comparable sales that occurred
On that area.
as close to the reference date as possible.
Okay, thank you.
So the lot was purchased in 2016. When were the permits taken out? What year?
January of 2017, the permit to construct the house was issued.
January 2017?
So it would have been, the process would have started in 2016, and it was actually issued in January of 2017.
Yeah. When did construction start, do you know?
I'm not sure if I have that.
Because you talked about it was progressing along, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know someone from the department was there in August of 2018, and it just says that basically it was framed in, we were pouring the garage slab at that point. So I'm not sure when
So
construction
the frame is
started.
up. Once the pad goes in, it's usually already. We'll get the rest from Tony when he. They're gonna, they're gonna do a sup on this, Tony, right?
Yeah, well, I know.
Tony, if you make your presentation then.
Okay. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did assess or appeal the value that they assessed me originally, and I didn't come in front of the board because they actually just called me and we did it over the phone and email. I purchased the lot at 170, and prior to me purchasing it was sold a couple of times before that. I think I gave you the listings there. It was sold 3 times. There was one at 165, and then it was sold again at 160, and I purchased it at 170. So there is some history on a lot of what the value is, and they increased it 5% at 178 on the last assessment, and now for some reason they've jumped another 20%, and I'm not sure how they get that number. Because just looking at the properties next to me, my neighbor, which that just sold at 260, and it's the exact same lot, 60 feet wide by the same depth, and it's got the house on it, 1,300 square foot. So you're saying that the value of that house is only like $45,000, which is impossible. So, and then the other property on the other side of me, which is a double lot, it's 120 feet by the same depth, and it's got a bungalow on it, and they're assessing that at, I believe it was at 3. I guess I didn't realize we can't use assessment values, but yeah.
That's irrelevant because they could be wrong, just like yours
Okay,
could be
yeah,
right.
I didn't realize that, but then just taking the sale price, like I said, my neighbor at 260 with a 1,300 square foot bi-level on it, and the exact same size lot, you're saying that the house value then is $45,000, which is, I'm not sure how you get the number of 215 when it's been sold 3 times, roughly within $5,000. It was at 260, 265, I mean 160, 165, and I purchased it at 170. And then they increased it to 178 literally right after I bought it, which was 5% already. And now they're bumping another 20%, so I'm just not sure how they get that number.
I think she'll explain it to you now that you've laid that out. Candice, you got a question?
How far along is the house?
I'm planning to move in hopefully this summer. So probably another 6 months or so.
So then, the existing structure that's there, I mean, say if you took your property as is right now, you feel that that improvement has no value?
But are we not valuing the property right now? Because I'm not selling a house that's half, like, not
What we're
completely
assessing is
built.
the property the way it is today at April 1st, 2018. So the
Yeah,
condition
with
it's in today.
2018, that's when construction barely started.
No,
so-
but the condition it's in today. So the property condition is in today. So if there's a structure on it, it adds value. So that's what they're looking at trying to bring down to. She's saying right now, your house, the way you've got it,
Yeah.
on that lot is worth $215,000.
Okay.
That's what she's saying. She's taking into account that the house has progressed to a certain point, so they're putting a value on your house as it's progressing ahead. And they'll do that every 2 years, just to.
Okay. But are we not basing this on 2018 or?
Correct, April 1st to 2018.
Right.
So that's the value, they would say, at your house in the condition it's in right now, under construction, they're saying on that lot it's worth $215,000. You think that's right?
But that's today, or is that the
The
2018?
condition it's in today, in 2018.
So if you took the house as is today, what would it have sold for in April of 2018 is essentially what we use current condition dated back to that reference date of sales.
Would you sell it for $215,000 in the condition it's in today?
Right today? No. No, but I mean in 2018, I thought we're basing this on 2018, aren't we?
We are, with the condition of today. So you've got a house on it now that's
Yeah.
under construction. So if you were to sell that portion that you've already put up today, the city is saying it's worth $215,000 on April 1st, 2018. You think they're putting too high a value on it?
Yeah. You're basing it, I think you should be basing
It's
it on
not just the
property
land value.
Okay.
There's value in what you've constructed already. If something went wrong and you got unhealthy and somebody had to sell the house,
Yeah.
they would be selling it in the condition it's in now because they couldn't finish it at today's value, not April 1st, 2018.
I thought the assessment's based on 2018 though.
It is,
That's
it's based on 2018, April 1st, 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but in the present condition. So because the house is under construction, it's at a certain stage, there's a value to it. You've already spent probably $100,000, $150,000. They're not taking that all into account because we haven't done the final touch.
Right.
They will, once you get your occupancy permit, then they're gonna come and they're gonna do a sub. And they're gonna bring the value up to the full value with the house at April 1st, 2018.
Okay.
Won't be today's value, it'll be April 1st, 2018.
Okay.
You know what I mean by a sub?
Well, they're gonna reassess.
Yeah, they're gonna reassess it once you move in.
Yeah.
So,
Increase. Yeah.
do you think, I'm trying to put it this way. Do you think you could have bought that lot with the house the way it is right now in 2018 for $215,000?
No, but that's kind of, you're assessing the house then, not the property.
The house and the property. It's not just the property anymore. You've got permits that show that you're...
Yeah, well, then I'm in the same boat as the neighbor across the street who's
Yeah.
got a house up too.
And there is some
And he had the same
confusion.
arguments.
And there's confusion around it when they do it because they don't always explain. Candace explained it earlier, but
Yeah, because, I mean, for us, it's not reasonable to reassess at each stage of a house being built. So we just assess it as vacant land, and then when the house is fully completed, then we'll assess it as a house. So in this case, I mean,
So,
our
like-
computer model was initially assessing it as vacant land, but then when the value is appealed, I go in and do a more in-depth review. So I mean, vacant, if it was fully vacant, I'm not sure what my decision would have been, but then I took into consideration, well, there is a partially built structure on the site. So even though we don't add the house at all until it's fully completed, I will take that into account when the value is appealed, that it would have some value at this point.
Okay. Well, I just find it strange you bring it up with me, but my neighbor who just came up has the exact same situation I'm in, and you never brought
And I
that
mentioned
up.
at the start, I just
You
like
did.
that
She had mentioned
with
it.
both
Right.
Oakdale properties, yeah. So this does apply to both. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring it up at that point,
Yeah.
but similar situation with both properties on Oakdale.
Okay. I was just basing it on the property because the house is not complete.
even if you took your 170 and added the value to it, you're probably close to $208,000 on the increase in the value of the land from the 170, from your
No, because they just
from
reassessed
your
it.
178.
They just reassessed it last time at
Yeah.
178.
Yeah.
So now they bumped it up 20%. And if it was based on a vacant land, it didn't go up 20%.
No, but it's not just the vacant land.
Yeah, but that was my understanding why I was here it was based on vacant land because the house is not complete yet. I didn't know that they take into consideration stages of a build.
They do and they don't. If they did, it'd be a lot higher than 215.
Right, but so that's what I'm saying is like where they get that number, they just say, well, I don't know, they just pick it out of the air.
Well,
No,
the
it's-
215 was based on, it was the computer-generated value for a vacant lot, but then when the value is appealed, an actual
So
person,
you're
so I
basing it on a
actually,
vacant lot then at 215 is what you're
the
saying.
computer model, but then when it's appealed, an actual person, so then I actually looked at the property, and we do a more in-depth review, and that's when we decide, is that value that was computer-generated reasonable? So in this case, I took into account that there are partly built buildings on the property. So when we're looking at the current condition, I did take that into consideration.
Yeah, but you're saying that the way you guys, your computer-generated model is just basing 215 on a vacant lot, which in
And
reality-
if it was fully vacant, there may have been a different.
Well,
I
if it's
mean,
fully vacant, there's no way it's worth 215.
Yeah, so that's.
When my neighbor across the street paid 205 and his lot's bigger than mine, so I'm not sure that.
And if it was fully vacant, like if it was just a vacant lot with no improvement at all, it may have been worth less, and that's when you may make an adjustment to the value because of the appeal.
Yeah, I just okay. Yeah.
Are we confusing you yet?
Well, it's, I don't know, I just think sometimes these numbers are just picked out of the air, because like I said, when I originally purchased, the reason I bought it last time is because it sold 3 times within $5,000 at 160, 165, 170, then like the next day I bought it, they jump it up to 207. When the property sells, that's the market value. Like I'm competing against everybody else to buy it. So how do you go from like 170 to 207? And I got to come in and argue the case. I didn't come in, but they actually called these held over the phone. But I don't know how they come up with these values sometimes.
So what number were you looking for today, Tony? That was the last question I was going to ask you.
Well, I mean, property doesn't go up 20%. I can understand a couple percent per year or something, but not 20%. And I was assuming I was coming here to argue just the vacant lot. I didn't, and I think that's what you're generating your model from on the vacant property until the house is complete, and then it gets reassessed with the completed house on it.
And your number is?
For
the number you're looking for.
The value?
Yeah.
I think I'm already at a high value. I think the value of the lot itself at 178 is what it should be. Because, like I said, my neighbor at 260's got the same size lot and a 1,300 square foot house on it. And he sold, and it was purchased for 260. So, saying the house is even 100,000 at 260 minus 100, that's 160 already. Like you can't build a 1,300 square foot house for $100,000. Right? And that's my neighbor, exact same size lot. I mean, I don't think you can get a better comparable than that. So.
Do you guys have any questions? I'm sorry, I jumped in.
So you think the 178 isn't
for a vacant lot, 178 is already, I think, more than what it should be. Like, I mean, I think it should be more than that.
You don't think that it will appreciate the value in 2 years that you appeal?
No, I think I even settled at a higher value than it should have been because, like I said, they went from 170 to 178 like overnight. It already increased $8,000, and I mean, I guess I could have argued last time even more and tried to keep it closer to 170 when it actually was only increasing at 5,000 when I purchased it. So.
But overall in the city, there is an increase of,
6%.
6.5%.
Yeah. But like I said, there's been 2 lots on Oakdale listed at 199, which are the almost exact same size, and they haven't sold. So now they're saying mine's 215, and I'm not sure how they get that number when there's comparables that you can't sell it for 200. I mean, how do they get 215?
Jeff?
All my questions have been answered.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry I jumped in, guys. I don't know. I don't usually
That's
do
okay.
that. I don't usually do that to you. Tony, thank you very much for your
Thank you for
presentation.
listening. Okay.
And you'll be hearing from us.
These 2 no-show.
Yeah, we're going to do it. We have to go outside and have a little talk. And that's why. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
That goes like this. I think there's one that we can deal with though, right? Fair tax we can deal with?
I believe so. There was an email sent yesterday afternoon
Yeah.
that,
Which one?
Has the secretary got the email yet?
yep.
You've got it? So it's just to confirm?
Which address is that?
I'm sorry, this is Aldine Street, and it's the Fair Tax Association, the ones on it. It's number 8, item number 8.
Oh, number 8.
So they're asking for confirmation. Right? You guys okay with that?
I have a
Sure.
copy of the email if you'd like.
Okay, so that's going to be that one.
We still need to read it in.
Oh, you want to read it in? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's read it in.
Would you like me to go over the comparables or just the roll
No.
number?
Roll number and the amount on the bottom.
The subject property is roll number 0707395400. The 2020 assessment is $123,000 or $13.80 per square foot.
That's all she has. Right? Good, thank you very much. Docketed. So we've got number, why do I have 2 10s here? Whose 10 did I get? Anybody missing number 10?
I haven't sent.
You have it,
yours, Marcel?
Huh?
Oh, okay.
I've got
Maybe
mine
let's
here.
check.
Do we have to go outside and discuss this because he's not here, or? No, because you said you got an email on him, didn't you?
No, I had an
So-
email for the one that was withdrawn and Fairfax.
All right, let's do it. I don't know why we do this, but we have to. Let's go
You mean outside?
Yes, we gotta go outside for a minute. It's just in the hallway. Or we can send Candace up.
I can leave.
Sure, we'll send
It's
you
easier
for a
if I
minute.
leave.
If you like. So the first one would be number 10, which is Snowberry, number 207. Can you read it onto the record for us and tell us what they're asking for?
The subject property is roll number 06093464645. Address is 207 Snowberry Circle. The 2020 assessment that was appealed, $122,000 was for the vacant residential lot. Since then, in September of 2019, a supplementary assessment notice was issued to value the house. So the current 2020 assessment is actually $439,000, and our records indicate that that new assessment has not been appealed.
So we're dealing with the 122.
And that
We're not dealing with the 499.
439?
No.
No,
So-
hold on now.
So
No.
I tried to contact the appellant in this case because they appealed the vacant land. We have since actually assessed the house.
Oh, there's a
So
house.
there's been a sup issued on this property. The house is there. It
What was he
added-
appealing, the 122,000?
The vacant land.
He
The
thought it
house-
was too high.
Yeah, and the house, it says October 31st, 2008, possession of the house. So the house was actually assessed effective December 1st, 2018.
December 1st, 2018.
We sent the supplementary assessment notice dated back to December 1st, 2018. So that 122,000 vacant land value no longer exists. The house has been assessed at 439,000. And that value was not appealed.
Okay, then I need visa.
Did you visit the place?
Not
Unless
it
you
was
did
another
that.
So
assessment.
I have 122 in the system, I can't change that.
122 still in the system.
And I tried to contact the appellant and just explain the situation. There must have been some kind of confusion.
When did the sub go out?
It was sent out September 25th, 2019.
September 2019.
Yeah.
How come it's not showing up on the system yet?
Yeah.
Because the value they appealed, they had filed the appeal in June of 2019 on the 122,000. After they filed the appeal, then the sup was sent, but it wasn't appealed.
Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah, just, I want to make sure we do it right. I want to do it right.
So they appealed in June 2019.
Yes, during the...
I guess we have to shut off the mic when we talk to, and the cameras. Okay, you want to finish up on this, what you'd like us to do with it?
Okay, so for the property at 207 Snowberry, since the property has been reassessed with the dwelling at 439,000, I'm recommending that the land value assessment of 122,000 be confirmed.
Okay, thank you. Move on to item number 11 now. 218 Tenant Gate. Everybody's there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not another one.
The subject property is roll number 0500-942-6595. The 2020 assessment that was appealed was $122,000 on the vacant residential lot. The appeal application was seeking an increase. And so on December 13th, 2019, we sent out supplementary assessment notices, and the 2020 assessment for this property increased to $479,000 to reflect that the improvements are now on the property.
What did he ask for?
It was just seeking increase. I'm not sure what.
He didn't give an amount?
No, I actually contacted this appellant as well and did not receive a response.
Okay, so you're asking us to confirm the 122 then?
Yes.
Okay, any questions?
No.
None? Thank you. Confirm. We'll do that after. Thank you. I think that concludes all the matters? You're done.
Thank you.
Job well done.